Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to you all once again. Thank you very much for joining in again. Um, Big news actually in the production of these things. No longer is my phone precariously balanced on two cushions and a solid hardback book leaning against my computer screen. I now, by courtesy of my good friend Gary, have a rather sturdy tripod holding everything. So if things look slightly different tonight, that's the reason why. I guess from now on we should be calling this 21st Century Fox, possibly, who knows. Tonight, I hope you did enjoy the song one, if you've had a chance to have a go at that, hope that helped somewhat. Tonight, back to more musical theory type stuff. I want to start talking about scales. It's a huge subject, scales. I can really only scratch the surface of it, being I'm like a beginner with musical theory. I know bits. I would imagine if there are any experienced professional whatever musicians who do watch this, they'll either watch it and laugh for sheer comedy value, or they'll just switch off straight away. I do hope that if there's anybody, as I've always said in this, if there's anybody out there who's learning this from scratch, then I hope I can put it in some kind of layman's terms. It'll certainly be that we all, as limited musical theorists, that we can all follow and understand. So I hope it'll be of some benefit to anybody in that position. What I would recommend right at the very start here is that you get your copy, if you're not stood by a piano keyboard as in the past, have a copy of your piano keyboard available, because it does help to understand things. So, scales. We've already talked about an octave of notes. We've been up the various frets, playing an octave, which we know to be 7 letters, and then the 8th letter is the repeating note 1 octave up. So if we were starting on A, we'd go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then we play the A again for the 8th note, which gets us the octave. And that is basically a scale. It's 7 notes, and then the final 8th note gets you back to where you started, an octave higher. And the scale is named after whichever letter you start at. So if you start playing an A, then you're playing a scale of A. And if you start on D, you're playing a scale of D, and so on and so on. And you'll start there on that note and end on an A as well, so they're up the fretboard. Now, there are loads of different types of scales, far too many for me to go into at this point. I want to try and keep this part really straightforward and just go into 2 basic types, and they're called major scales and minor scales. I mean, within the minor one, just to sidetrack for a second, there are at least 3 different types of minor ones that even I'm aware of. The natural minor scale, which I'm going to try and play tonight. Then there's another one called harmonic, name's melodic, is it? No, I can't remember the name of the other one. But then there's the major scale as well. Then there are things like pentatonic scales, where you play 5 notes instead of 7. There's all sorts of things, way too many to cover. Tonight we're going to do a really basic introduction to major and minor. So what I want to get into your mind first of all is the thought process of 7 notes, and then the 8th note getting you back to where you started. And in those 7 notes, if you refer to your keyboard, your piano keyboard, then we know that let's ignore the black notes altogether for a second. If we just looked at the white notes, we know that there are 5 notes that are what we call a full tone, and 2 of them are a half tone. And that is basically a scale. If you play 5 full tones and 2 half tones in whatever order is required to play that scale. That is what a scale consists of. What I'm going to do is try and demonstrate that, because the pattern of where the full and the half tones occurs, it repeats whatever the letter of the scale is, whether it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The pattern to play a minor scale or a major scale is exactly the same. You just start from a different point, and so therefore obviously you play different frets on your board, but the pattern that you follow is always the same. So once the pattern gets into your mind, it's just a case of learning where to start from, really, and then you do exactly the same thing. So tonight all I'm going to do is cover the basic pattern, the spread of where the full tones and half tones are, and then next time out show you how you can play it a little bit more efficiently by bringing into play the various repeating notes on your fretboard that we've already looked at before. So minor and major scales tonight, and just 2 to look at because they're the easiest ones to follow that I can see, at least. I'm going to start with the minor scale, and I'm going to start at the beginning of the alphabet and play an A. So we're going to play what's called A minor, natural A minor. And the reason I'm starting with that one is that it's the only minor scale that doesn't use black notes from the keyboard. It just plays the 7 white notes from the keyboard and then ends up if we start using the A string, the 2nd string on the guitar, and we already know that the 12th fret is the octave of it, we've got to find a way of slotting in 6 other notes in between those 2 that make us a minor scale to progress us from there to there. So the minor scale progression, as it's called, goes like this. We do 1 full tone, 1 half tone, 2 full tones, a half tone, and 2 more full tones. Now, have your keyboard copy handy. So if we start as A as our first note, our first progression is 1 whole tone from A to B. So that's 1 full tone. Then, as we know from previous goes at this, B to C with no black note in between them is only half a tone. So when we go from B, wrong one, B to C, that's half a tone. Now we're back to 2 full tones, so we're going from C to D, and that's D to E. But then, going back to the keyboard again, E to F is only half a tone. So when we go E to F, there's a half, and then we finish off with 2 full tones to go from F to G, and G back to A, and we've made the octave. So we put that all together. That's a minor scale in A. And the difference between that and a major scale is that the major one, the 2 half tones move 1 place. So to illustrate that one, I'm going to go and play C, because that is also a scale that only plays the white notes, doesn't bring in any black ones, and it'll just be the easiest way to do it. So this is C major. The pattern this time is that we play 2 we play 2 full tones from C to D and D to E. Then it's a half, E to F, and it's 3 whole ones, F to G, G to A to B, and then at the very end a half tone from B to C. So while on a minor scale the repeating pattern is 1 full, 1 half, 2 full, a half, and 2 full to finish. On the major scale, it's 2 full, a half, 3 full, and a half, and you end up back at your octave on both of them. And as long as you do that, it doesn't matter what letter on the fretboard you start from, as long as you follow that pattern, you will play the major or minor scale of that letter. And without actually knowing it, you'll be playing some of the black notes without even realizing you're doing it, because you'll just be following the half tone or full tone pattern. And that is basically all I want to mention tonight. Get practicing it. Obviously the way I've played it there tonight is really cumbersome because we've travelled all the way up the board, and if you're going to play it fast, you've got no chance. So next time out, I'm going to show you how you can actually use the fretboard to start playing it quicker. But before you can play it quicker, you need to know what the actual thing is to begin with, and just get practicing the notes and learning where they are. So I'll leave you with that one, and just say thank you as always for watching at this point, and hope to see you soon when we'll go into that part and look at the faster scale and how you can play it better. So until then, take care folks, and bye.